Hi, this is Review Duck here. Welcome back to the next video. On a remote island in the Indian Ocean, there is a special place for violent prisoners. All prisoners sent to the island are serving life sentences, which means they will be on the island forever. It is known that there are 12 countries that have been sending their prisoners to the island, including Indonesia. A woman and her daughter were being chased by a group of prisoners. She tried to fight off those who were chasing her, and she managed to beat some of them, but due to being outnumbered, she was caught. She then told her daughter, Jean, to run away while she tried to fight those people. Out of the blue, a prisoner who had just arrived on the island appeared and helped Jean and her mother fight against those men. He is an ex-cop named Yul. Yul was an Interpol agent who was convicted of slaughtering the family of a mafia boss. Yul then eliminated those bad guys one by one to save Jean and her mom. After successfully taking down all of his opponents, Yul then asked one of them about someone named Kun. Kun was the boss of the prisoners who were after Jean and her mom. Upon hearing Kun's name, that man said that he was more afraid of Kun than Yul. Yul ended up killing him. We'll talk a little bit about Kun's. He is a former mafia chief who is now the sole ruler of the island. He is also known to be very cruel, especially since on this island there are no rules prohibiting them from killing each other. Jean then removed the clothes that tied Yul, and then she said that her mother must know where Kun was, so Yul had to help her take her mother to their group's hideout. When they got there, it turned out that a lot of people were hiding in that secret place because they were afraid of the brutality of Kun's group. Here, they were led by a man named Ba Wu. Ba Wu was about to kick Yul out of their shelter, but fortunately, Jean was quick to explain that Yul was the one who had just helped her and her mom. Later that night, Ba Wu scolded Jean for playing too far away and getting caught by Kun's men, and for that, even her mom had to be a victim. Yul then asked Ba Wu if the latter knew Kun's whereabouts because he wanted to kill him and take his revenge on Kun. Ba Wu was stunned to hear Yul's words, considering that Kun was the ruler of the island and a particularly violent one. It's revealed that Yul has a grudge against Kun because he was the one who killed Yul's daughter and wife. Ba Wu then mentioned that Jin's mom might know Kun's whereabouts. Ba Wu then asked Yul a few questions, but Yul remained silent and just walked away. A few hours after that, Ba Wu came back to Yul, saying that he shouldn't be too confident that he could defeat Kun. In the end, Yul had to give Ba Wu a lesson for his attitude that underestimated him. The next morning, to Jin's delight, her mom recovered. Jean then apologized to her mom, as her actions had endangered her life. The moment she saw Yul, Jin's mother, Mally, pointed her weapon at Yul. It turned out, Yul was the one who had sent Mally to this island with her husband, when she was still pregnant with Jean. Mally and her husband were used to being hitmen who had killed dozens of people, so they were sent to this island to serve their sentences. Jean was born on the island because no one knew that Mally was pregnant. Yul then said that he would leave their hideout as long as Mally told him where Kun was. Mally then replied that Kun's base was located next to the volcano. Later that afternoon, Yul made his way to the volcano in search of Kun and was surprised to find Jean caught in a trap behind him. I know a shortcut to the volcano, Jean said. In the end, Yul had to save Jean again. Jean then told Yul that she also had the same grudge against Kun. Jin's father used to be the ruler of this island. After he made a decision to live peacefully with the other prisoners on the island, until one day Kun came and killed her father and all of his friends. In the meantime, while Ba Wu and Mally were having a conversation, Jean was reportedly missing and probably went with Yul to get revenge on Kun. Along the way, Jean accidentally stumbled upon some people from her group who seemed to have just been beaten up by Kun's men. A few moments later, some men grabbed her, but Yul did nothing because, at the same time, he found a doll that looked exactly like his daughter's. He daydreamed as he looked at the doll. Once he realized that Jean might be in danger, Yul chased after those who had taken the little girl. Yul's chase led him to an abandoned building. There were several people held captive in the building by Kun's men. Yul then killed all Kun's men who guarded that place. After destroying dozens of Kun's men, Yul then entered the second building, and there, he again had to deal with Kun's men. Yul then headed to the third building. and finally he found Jean there. There, Yell met one of Coon's right-hand men, who was in charge of guarding the place. The fight happened again. In the end, Coon's right-hand man and his men were successfully eliminated by Yell. Yell then asked Jean to immediately return to her group hideout. As soon as Jean left, a man attacked Yell from behind, but suddenly, an arrow knocked the man out. Ba Wu and Mally arrived at the place to look for Jean. Unfortunately, Jean had just left the place, not wanting to go home empty-handed. Mally, Ba Wu, and the others then released all the prisoners from that place. Little did they know, one of Coon's men managed to escape and tell Coon about what happened to them. He told Coon that there was a very tough man who managed to wipe out everyone. He also said that he was looking for Coon. Upon hearing his henchman's explanation, Coon was reminded of an incident in his past. In the past, Yell was the one who had caused him to suffer severe facial injuries after he killed his family. Coon then dispatched all his best men to hunt him down. A while later, an army of archers, Coon's men, managed to find Jean, and they were about to kill her. Luckily, Yell again managed to save Jin's life. Yell then immediately took her into a room while Coon's men continued to attack them by shooting poisonous arrows. The relentless arrow attack finally hit Yell's back. Thankfully, Mally arrived on the scene, and she managed to take out all of Coon's men. Mally then went to Jean and said how happy she was that Jean was fine. Meanwhile, Yell was unconscious from being hit by a poisoned arrow. Mally then immediately gave him first aid by giving him some medicine. Not long after, Ba Wu and his friends finally found them. Ba Wu wanted to leave Yell, saying Coon's men would arrive soon. However, Jean kept begging them not to leave him. In the end, they decided to take Yell to their hideout. Ba Wu then told some of his men to escape through the back way, while he and one of his friends would try to divert attention. Ba Wu and one of his peers managed to escape, but Ba Wu had trouble communicating with his friend because the man turned out to be from Indonesia and did not understand English or Korean. Ba Wu then decided to continue his escape, but suddenly he stepped into a trap. Ba Wu told his friend to leave immediately, but the man did not understand what Ba Wu said. In the end, his friend also fell into the trap. Meanwhile, Yell and the others had arrived at the hideout, and he was immediately treated. Later that night, Ba Wu and his friend were found by a group of Coon's men led by a man named Jarugal. Jarugal then ordered his men to kill Ba Wu's friend, while they would release Ba Wu on the condition that Ba Wu would hand Yell over to him. The next morning, Ba Wu rushed back to the hideout, and before he knew it, Jarugal and his men were following him. Ba Wu was shocked to learn that Jarugal and his men had come to his group's hideout. Jarugal asked where Yell was, but no one answered him. In the end, he ordered his men to start the attack. While outside, a fierce battle was taking place, and Yell was still lying weak from the wounds he suffered. One by one, Ba Wu's group members were defeated by Jarugal's men. As for Mally, she tried with all her might to fight Jarugal and his men. However, Jarugal was not her match because Jarugal was very tough. In the end, Jarugal was able to easily knock her down. Ba Wu couldn't bear to see Mally treated so harshly by Jarugal, so he attacked Jarugal, but somehow Jarugal managed to turn the tables and kill Ba Wu. Finally, Yell woke up, and he was ready to fight Jarugal and all his men. After successfully eliminating Jarugal's men, Yell then had to face Jarugal and one of his toughest men. Without difficulty and with his fighting skills as a former police officer, Yell was able to finish off Jarugal and his partner. Mally and Jean survived the battle, and without a single word, Yell left them and rushed to find Coon, the one he had been looking for. Yell arrived at Coon's base, and he immediately cleared out all of Coon's remaining men. Yell was finally able to meet with Coon after going through various obstacles. Yell then explained to Coon what made him sentenced to life until he was banished to this island. He was punished for slaughtering all of Coon's family. The vengeful battle between the two finally began. Both Coon and Yell have very great martial arts skills, so they both have difficulty defeating each other. After a long battle, Yell was finally able to destroy Coon, At the end of the story, Jean is seen waiting for Yul's arrival on the beach, and on the other hand, Yul is standing on the edge of the cliff after successfully taking his revenge. Thanks for watching. Please like, shares, and subscribe the channel.